Hi, once again, this is Brother Teacher. On the subject of the coronavirus, I watched something earlier today online from the World Health Organization, WHO, if you will, as far as some precautionary things that they advise that Americans implement to help get through this coronavirus pandemic. Basically, hygienically speaking. But it really makes no sense to me at all. And what I'm saying is this: what they're suggesting is something that's already been done, being done, and also that's impractical. The five things that they mentioned were hands, wash them often. Now I know there are people who don't wash their hands on a regular basis, but isn't this common sense? Isn't this something that you're supposed to do anyway? Do we need an organization outside of the individual and their family, outside of their households, to be a third party when it comes to common sense? Do we really need someone to inform us of this? And if you are that individual that don't wash your hands on a regular basis, maybe this is what you need. But for most of us, we don't need it. Number two, they suggest when you cough into your arm. I've been doing that for 30 years. I don't need them to tell me that. And I would hope that anyone with common sense or who follows common sense will not cough into your hands, knowing that if you have any kind of medical issue as it relates to transmuting or, transferring some sort of germs, bacteria, virus, or whatever, you would know not to cough into your hand and put your hands on another person. I would think that would be common sense as well. Okay, number three, don't touch your face. How can you avoid touching your face? What if you have a husband, a wife, or a child? Do you not touch their face as well? Feet, not feet as in feet you walk on. Stay more than 3 feet apart. How I interpret that is to say, watch how close you're standing to other people. No more than 3 feet, within 3 feet of another individual. Well, I feel sorry for people who live in New York because that is such a dense place. You can't avoid being up close to someone else. And the other thing too is there was a doctor. His first name is John. I forget his last name. I think it's Tulo. Don't quote me on that though. About a day ago, I heard him saying that people should stay about 6 feet away from each other. How do you determine that you can stay 6 feet away from someone and you have to go about your daily business? Now I know all of these issues has sprung up as a result of the coronavirus. You have mayors and you have governors that are closing down institutions, and here recently today as I'm speaking, I just got wind that the mayor of Cincinnati at 9 o'clock tonight is advising and or ordering bars to close, and even restaurants. And I heard just last night that the governor of Ohio was considering closing bars and restaurants. Can you see the writing on the wall? Do you know what's going to happen now? We're going to be in a police state, a militarized situation. This pandemic has set the precedence now for us being controlled by authoritative figures now, and our civil liberties being stripped from us. Actually, they're already gone. We never really had them in the first place. This is like Malcolm X said, the chickens coming home to roost. In other words, this was going to happen eventually. Now it's rearing up its ugly head right now. We are in the precipice. We are in that place where we're turning into a militarized community and nation. So before I close, let me add this part. This is something that bothered me a whole lot. Now I understand people being up in arms about this coronavirus issue. It's understood. But what happened to mature adults? What happened to grown folks, people who want to claim that they are intelligent? You find out who the boys and the girls are and who the adults really are in this situation now. So I say that to say this. A friend of mine, I talked to them today and I said, how's it going? Oh, it's just a lot going on. And I thought it was something going on in their personal life per se. And I said, what's going on? She said, well, you know, this virus and stuff. And it's like, oh my goodness, are you on that? My thing is this. We know what we're up against. Whether it was caused by the government, a science lab, a foreign entity, or what have you, you know what we're up against. You got to man up and woman up and deal with this situation like an adult would. Because if you don't do that, then you're going to be consumed by your very fears. And this young lady is so overwhelmed with what's going on, and nothing has touched her home per se. It's just the thought of it. And can you imagine how many people are feeling the way that she does, hopeless and helpless? We're not supposed to feel that way, but that's what the powers that be want us to feel, like we're helpless. So all we have to do now is depend only on our government. And guess what? That's where the rubber meets the road. That's what they want us to do. They want us to be panicked. They want us to be afraid and feel tormented by fear, so much so that this great white hope is going to come. It could be Donald Trump. It could be the Pope. It could be some other power or entity who's going to control our world and make things better for us. They want us to take the vaccinations. They want us to compromise our own very civil liberties and our freedoms. That's what they're looking for, total world dominance. I've already told you the writing is on the wall. It's come, as Malcolm X said, like I said before, the chickens have come home to roost. In this particular instance, we're talking about the coronavirus that's shutting down all these jobs. People are going to be depressed. People are already oppressed. People are already disgruntled. They don't know where their next paycheck is coming from. They don't know how they're going to take care of their families. All of this stuff was done by design. Trust and believe. This is Brother Teacher. Let me know what your feelings are. This is not a conspiracy theorist. This is actually what's going on in our world today. The point is, at the end of the day, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to sit and cower with your head in the ground? Or are you going to stand up and get your family, your loved ones together and make a decision on being proactive and where we go from this point forward? But what you shouldn't do is sit and do nothing at all. Panic is not going to get you anywhere. I'm out.